No, indeed, and we're in a very, very frenzy, excitable atmosphere at Westminster at the moment, where things are moving pretty fast. On terms of the letters going in, and they need 54 of you guys, have remarked, in order to spark this leadership election that could force the Prime Minister out. It's really difficult to tell. Frankly, no one knows. But at the moment, the numbers seem to be going up, particularly these MPs that were elected back in 2019. Many who would say might owe their seat to Boris Johnson in the so-called Red Wall in the Midlands and in the north of England. But many of them will be meeting yesterday and the day before, essentially questioning Boris Johnson's leadership. Some have publicly now come out and said they are going to submit letters. And I think in part that is because they've just not been very impressed by the Prime Minister's explanations over the last week or so.
But Darren, there's something about this, isn't there? They get one go at this, because if they get this wrong and they don't topple him, they can't do it again
for another year.
Yeah.
So what happens is they submit these letters. If it gets to 54, there'll be a vote of which there needs to be a majority. So you're talking about upwards of 180 MPs. But you're right, if they then back him, a bit like happened with Theresa May, do you remember when that happened? She was then safe for another year. And that is why, even though there are some MPs who want to get rid of him, some others are saying, well, hold on a second, I don't like this, but we should still wait for that investigation from Sue Gray, the senior civil servant who's looking into all of this, all the different parties that have taken place. Now, that is due to report potentially the end of this week. I suggest more likely the start of next week. She's about to interview Dominic Cummings, of course, who's been making lots of allegations about this. But in the end, the reason there's this discontentment, the reason things seem to be moving very, very quickly is because they weren't very impressed with Prime Minister's question time last week. They weren't very impressed during that interview yesterday, in which he seemed to suggest that he wasn't quite sure what the rules were, or that no one told him.
Blooming wrote them.
And we've got then this key moment, and that's why Prime Minister's question time will be again fascinating today. But believe me, the Prime Minister is fighting for his political life.
Yeah.